Annyeonghaseyo, UAENA 할아버지와, and tonight I'm cooking my weekly wok. Every Wednesday for years now, it's been probably 5 years, I've done it every Wednesday. I've created a wok dish. It's never the same. It's usually made with whatever happens to be available, what's fresh, or what protein or meat is on sale in some fashion. So it's just what I decide to make that week. I make the decision when I walk in the grocery store.
So what do we have this week?
What we have this week, we're going to make something with a pork loin. That's a pork loin. We're going to use asparagus, bok choy. I put bok choy in almost everything. I just love bok choy. Mung bean sprouts. I love bean sprouts, and the mung bean sprouts are available in the local grocery all the time. Really easy to get where I live. And then, of course, green onion. Got to have green onion. And, of course, onion. And red bell pepper. It's for the color. You want your dish to look pretty. Well, if you put red bell pepper in, or any kind of red pepper, it's just going to look prettier. Okay?
Matches your shirt.
Well, a little off, don't you think? This is more of an orange. And of course, ginger. I love having ginger, fresh ginger, garlic, and everything I make nowadays has gochujang in it.
What kind of piece of meat did you use?
This is a pork loin. In
Okay.
fact, I can decant it from the package. And you can see the pork loin. It's incredibly lean. It's a really lean pork loin. And I'll cut into very small pieces.
How big is it?
It's about a pound. It's only a pound.
Just 1 pound?
Yeah. I mean, I find that I cook for 4 people every Wednesday.
Okay.
And I find that I basically make for 5. And 1 pound of protein is all you need to make for 5 people.
Alrighty.
Okay. Because Chinese food is very vegetable intensive. It's incredibly healthy. It's lots of vegetables and not so much meat. Now I will use as little peanut oil as I can in a wok. I use very, very little oil. I keep my dish very healthy. This week I'm going to use a red curry paste and oyster sauce, some soy sauce, and as I said, gochujang. That's going to be what I'll make it with, and I'll do a little drizzle of sesame oil at the end. Okay, now it's time for the prep work. Most of Chinese cooking, and this I would call kind of a fusion of a variety of different styles, but cooking in a wok is mostly about cuts. So how you cut it matters. And I want to create relatively small sections of asparagus on the diagonal, which I'm doing here, as you can see. Okay. And then because it's asparagus and it's kind of firm, you need to boil it ahead. To put my jacket on. It's going to get messy in here potentially, although I'm a really neat guy and the likelihood of a splash is really remote. It's better to wear my chef's jacket. It was a gift.
It's very stylish.
I think it's very stylish. My beautiful wife gave it to me for a gift for Christmas, I believe, a few years ago. Maybe many years ago. Okay, it's time. Time to put the asparagus in.
Water boiling.
Here we go. And it's only for 2 minutes.
You're just blanching them then.
Yeah, just blanching them. You just want, because it's not going to be, it won't be in the wok very long. It won't be in the wok long at all. It won't have that much time to cook. And so you just get a little start, because asparagus is very fibrous, and you need to break down the fiber a little. But your vegetables have to be very crunchy when you're eating something that you cook in a wok.
So you have time for a sip of wine then.
Oh, yeah. What a good idea. I think I'll sit back, sip my wine.
What happens when the cook becomes drunk?
Well, he gets very, very creative. Okay, while it's doing that, let me start the bok choy. And so much of what I do here is cutting things the shape I want to eat them. You always have to remember when you're eating in a wok, you're eating with chopsticks, and really just chopsticks. You may use the spoon at the end of the dish, but truthfully, you're using chopsticks. So everything has to be cut in a shape that makes it easy to pick up in chopsticks. So I have a certain shape I like to do bok choy in, and that's what I'll do. Okay. And I like to make the bok choy when I do a wok, kind of like matches the kind of shape I'm getting out of bean sprouts. So I do chops like this. Very easy to pick up with your chopsticks in the dish. And of course, a little wider as you get closer to the leafy part. Okay. Okay, there we go. So now we got the bok choy ready. Okay, and that's good. I think that's enough on the asparagus. I'm just gonna pour that out. And I want to stop cooking, so of course I have to pour cold water on it right away. If you get it cooled off right away, it stops cooking after too long. Okay. Now we can start putting veggies into the storage. I'm going to start putting my veggies into a plate filled with anything I'm going to cook at the same time, I put into the same container. This is going to be my serving bowl, and that's what I'm going to use for storing all the veggies. So, like that. And that. These are all going in at the same time, so I put them all together. Voila. Okay. Now I'll take care of my red bell pepper. This will probably be a section that won't be that interesting. We'll see. Again, I'm going to make the shapes that I want to pick up with chopsticks. I use a different kind of shape with the red bell pepper, but you'll see. I typically do this with it. Probably see a similar in the pattern of the way I cut things. They'll cook well, and it'll be easy to pick up. Getting the shape you want, really important. I'm about to cut myself. Okay. Now you'll notice right away when I put the red bell pepper in.
You didn't cut the last pieces. You left them long. Is that a reason?
Okay, I have to admit, sloppiness. No, it's not. It's okay, right? They're too long. You win. But they'll still pick up nicely.
No, I was wondering if there was a
No.
specific reason for the.
No scientific reason.
Okay.
They happened to be the piece was longer than the others, and that's what I did.
Okay, so we have a
There-
nice
look how
nice
pretty it
big
looks.
bowl of cut vegetables that are ready to go in
Right. Those are the basic vegetables I'm going to use. Now I'm going to prepare the onion portion of the entertainment. Okay. Oops, that was messy. Had a cascade of onion. Okay, now that's not quite all of my onion, other than what fell on the floor. 3-second rule, cooking it anyway. Okay, I also take the white end of the scallion and add it to the onions because it'll cook the same way and adds a little nice flavor. I think the scallion has a different flavor than the onion. So I like adding the white part of the scallion here. And if it's thick, I'll split it. Okay. And then I make a lot of the pieces like that. I add that to the pile of onions.
So we now have 2 bowls.
2 bowls, one for the veggies, one for the onions. Get something dry.
You separate them because they cook differently?
Yes, I separate them because I cook the onion at a different time than I cook the veggies.
Okay.
Okay, and even this onion, the green part of the green scallion I use to look pretty at the end. Again, it adds color and flavor, but really I do it mostly for the color. Makes it look pretty at the end. You sprinkle green onion on top of the dish and it looks so pretty. So that's like a garnish.
Alrighty.
Okay. Next I'm going to use about that much of this ginger because I like to, when I start the wok, I like to cook the ginger in the oil I'm going to be cooking the dish with. That way the ginger flavor is infused in the oil, which I like to do. And I also like to eat the ginger, so I'll do that as well. But I make nice slices out of it. Somebody comes to my house on Wednesdays, and they come for the ginger because they love fresh ginger. And I do too. See those beautiful pieces? Ah, oui. The final part's going to be the meat. Again, I don't know how much of all of this I'll use. We'll see. Okay, let me put this away. As long as I have a little break. Okay, now I'm going to take care of the pork. Now I'm very fussy about fat. I barely use any oil, at least I can in the dish, and I carry that through to every part of the dish. I try to remove all the fat possible. I don't like fat. In fact, I think the only exception I make to fat is I'll eat bacon. Other than that, I really can't stand fat. So I want to make this into small pieces, and it's very efficient for me to simply make a checkerboard out of it, and that's what I'm going to do. Longitudinal cuts. Like that. Longitudinal cut. Try to keep it simple, right? It's a pork loin, so the meat is all going to be very tender, and it is. And for some weird reason around here, pork loin is really inexpensive, so I use it quite often. And it's really a wonderful piece of pork. Okay, so then I'll simply do get rid of any fat, hate fat. Okay, and I just cut it like this. Oh, I still have a piece of fat I need to get rid of. It's embedded in here. Not too much. Let me get rid of it. Okay. But I keep doing this. I'll get nice small pieces of pork. And I have a pork bowl. Wait a second. Another bowl to hold that because it cooks at a different time. Everything that cooks at a different time goes in a different container. So we need nice small bits of pork. I used to obsess and cut tiny little strips, but yeah, I've gotten lazy in my old age. Tiny little strips that take me an hour to cut, I'm no longer interested in. Little chunks like this will work just fine. Easy to pick up with your chopsticks. You see how efficient it is? I can do this pretty quickly. The whole prep probably lasts half an hour. 45 minutes, I'm taking my time. But the cooking time, you'll see later, is like 15 minutes is done. So end to end, you can have a great meal with your wok for an hour, in an hour. Perhaps less, but certainly no more than an hour. You have an amazing meal. Okay, almost there. I cut chicken breasts the same way, just like this. Very efficient. Look how lean that pork is. Oh my goodness. That is amazing. And voila. And voila. I am prepped. Let me show you. We have our meat, one cooking time. We have our veggies that goes at the end. We have our vegetables, and we have our little stuff on the side. Now, the last thing I need to do is make a sauce.
What sauce?
And
what for?
I'm going to make the sauce to put, when you're doing this wok, you've got to have a sauce for the wok.
Okay.
And my sauce is going to be made up of oyster sauce, chili paste. It's actually a red curry paste and soy sauce.
Okay, let's make the sauce.
Every week I invent a sauce. This week I'm inventing a sauce where I'm going to use a tablespoon chili paste. It's actually a curry paste, pretty much the same thing. A tablespoon of oyster sauce, almost every Chinese dish you make has oyster sauce in it, and this is no exception, even though, of course, it's a fusion dish. There's so many different things. Then a couple of tablespoons of soy sauce. Okay. And just, dough. And, of course, a teaspoon of gochugaru. I can't make anything nowadays without gochugaru. Not only does it add zing to the dish, the flavor of gochugaru is wonderful. I just love the way it tastes. And just use a teaspoon. All recipes call for a tablespoon. I'll kill my wife if I make it the way the recipes call for it. So I think it's spicy enough with a teaspoon. Of course, none of you people understand what these measurements are, but I'm sure you can look them up. Teaspoon, tablespoon. You can make it into milliliters and centiliters if you want. It's too much work for me. I was born this way. Okay, so I'm going to mix it all together, and I will add it during the course of cooking the dish. And I'll catch you later when I'm doing that.
Okay.
That's all the prep.
See you then.
I think that's it. Okay, here I am. I'm ready now to begin the actual walking. First thing I need to do is get the wok really hot. By the way, it's smoking. It's definitely really hot. So now take a look, bring the camera nearby. I put the least amount of oil I can for the task I have at hand. I'm going to be using that much oil to, first of all, brown up the ginger pieces. Those big ginger pieces. They're very nice. Okay. And then, just separate them out. Oh, flip. Got it. Okay, once I've got them brown, the first thing that's going to go in is the onions. So I'm waiting to take off about 30 or 40 seconds to get this to go. So the process now is going to be get the ginger pieces browned, both sides, take them out. Then when I put the onions in, I'm going to bring them, cook the onions enough so they become translucent, the onions will be cooked. And then I'll take the onions out. Then I'll add a little more oil and I'll put in the meat and I'll cook that all up. Then I'll add ginger and the sauce and then the veggies and it all becomes a dish. I'm just keeping you busy while I'm doing this. I'm sure I can cut this out too. This will infuse the oil with ginger. Infusing the oil and browning the ginger. Onion. Doesn't take long to cook. Most of the work is in the preparation and the cutting. The quickest part is the actual cooking. So it's about ready now. I can put the onions aside. I'll put them right where I put the ginger because I'm going to put them back in together later. Okay, now I have put some oil in because I don't want the meat to stick to the wok. So you put some oil in. If you look again, not that much oil. There's no reason to put a lot of oil. Now I want this to cook for like 4 or 5 minutes. This is pork. I want pork to be cooked thoroughly. So start it out, we'll cook a little, then I'll stir it a bit. Okay, after it's brown for a while, cooked a few minutes, then you add the garlic and stir that around.
So how many cloves?
I put in 3 cloves of garlic. Not that it's an exact measurement system, because I kind of make it up as I go, but usually with this much meat and it's pork, I add 3 cloves of garlic. Okay.
Okay.
And just let that sit for another few minutes. Make sure the pork is cooked. Okay, and now I'm going to add the sauce to the meat. It'll all mix in with the vegetables when I put the vegetables in. So just getting all the sauce in with the meat, which I'll stir around. Seasons up the meat for the dish. Okay. Ooh, flavorful meat. You smell it from here. Can you smell that? It smells
Yep.
great.
Yep, smells good.
Smells good, doesn't
spicy.
it? No, it's too spicy.
It smells spicy. I didn't say too spicy.
I know, but it smells good. It does smell
spicy.
good. Okay, now I'm going to add the onions and the garlic. Onions and the ginger back in. I'm going to mix those around. And then I'm just going to put all the veggies in. Oh, veggie dump.
Whoa!
Put them all back in. This bowl will become my serving bowl. Okay. And now you have to wait long enough for the veggies to cook, which takes a little while. A
So
few
you
minutes.
keep stirring it,
I
right?
keep stirring it. I want to mix the sauce in with the vegetables. But you know, the vegetables are melting now, and they're going to give off a lot of liquid. So, when no one was looking, I made a little slurry of cornstarch that I'll add to it to make certain that it makes a good thick sauce, not thick sauce, but
So that it's not soup.
so it's not too soupy. So I'm going to make a little spot for me to pour it into the liquid.
It's already looking pretty.
It does look pretty, doesn't it? Not enough liquid yet to put the slurry in. I'll wait. The bean sprouts give off a lot of liquid, but so do the bok choy, and all these veggies have a lot of liquid in them. Ooh, it's starting to look good. It's incredibly healthy. I mean, this is so full of vegetables. And so little oil. I put as little oil as I could possibly put and make the dish work. A lot of people think Chinese food is oily. It's only oily if you put too much oil in it. When you make it at home, you don't have to cook it like that. And then we can pour it a little more sauce at the bottom. A little patience here. On camera, I want it to cook right away so nobody has to wait, but you know. Takes what it takes. You basically have to, you look at the bean sprouts. When the bean sprouts look done is when the dish is done. Everything's fine once you know the bean sprouts are good. Okay, this looks like that's gotta be about right. I'm sure it is. It's done. It's done. Just let me see if I need any more slurry. I don't think so. It's, I'm gonna show them putting a little in. Just so they can see me do
Little
it.
cornstarch.
I'm gonna put a little cornstarch in, but
Okay.
not much. It's
Okay.
actually, it doesn't need it. No, I'm not going to.
No.
Yeah. Okay, we're ready. Ready to throw again? Are we doing it? Oh, we're doing it. Okay. Anyway, it's done. You can see. Look how it looks. You can just tell it's done. So
How can you tell it's done?
well, with the bean sprouts, perfect. They're perfect. You can see it visually. If you cook bean sprouts
And
a lot.
I can hear the noise, which means that the sauce under there is boiling.
Mm-hmm.
Can you show that?
Oh, sure. I don't want it to burn. There's sauce underneath
Okay.
there, but I'm going
And
to put
so-
the scallions on top.
Scallions on top to make it really pretty.
Yeah, and I'm going to give it a drizzle of sesame oil. The sesame oil is nice when it drizzles.
And you turned off the heat.
Heat I just turned off. And I'm just doing a little drizzle because that little aroma of the sesame oil is all you're looking for. Okay, and now I'm done. And I will transfer to my serving dish.
This is.
There we are. We're done. Let's take a look.
I'm so lucky I'm being fed.
Wow. Shimmy, that looks great. Let me get it. How close a shot can I get of that? It looks good to me. It smells great.
It's magnificent. I am so hungry now. Look how pretty this is. Whoa.
Very nice. And of course we have our kimchi. We have our soju.
Gombe.
And we have our rice.
We have the rice. Of course,
I mean-
we have rice. Everything is there.
Okay, this looks absolutely great.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Grandma UAENA is a really good cook. I'll drink to that.
Mwah.